This production was brought to you by something horrible. Really, gentle listeners, you should have seen it. It was hideous, enormous, the size of an elephant, ferocious, with huge slobbering fangs and dripping wet tentacles, and a stench so foul you would... Oh no! There it is again! I think it's coming back! No! Please, don't!
We now return you to the high-quality, serious, triple-act radio program, now in progress.
The human race, the pinnacle of creative evolution. 7.9 billion souls.
Living, breathing, not always majestic, not always inventive.
Sometimes peaceful, other times warlike.
Capable of acts of tremendous good.
You saved my puppy.
It was nothing.
And despicable evil.
That was my Pop-Tart.
Well, it's made now.
But how did we get here?
And where did we spring from?
These are among the countless questions that have plagued our minds for as long as we can remember. And until now, the responsibility of answers has fallen on historians.
The historian. Strange creature. They spend their days scrutinising books and digging in the ground, inspecting pottery fragments and examining prehistoric poo to determine how we lived,
What we ate,
how we spent our time,
and how we wiped our bums before we invented toilet roll.
and even then, even when the most detailed forensic investigation is complete,
The findings must be analysed and argued over.
I'm right.
No, I'm
right.
No, I think you're
I
right.
believe, in fact, actually, it says here.
Quiet! Thank you. I'm right.
But history is a question of proof.
And exactly how much we lose when our contact with the past has been severed cannot be measured.
Wouldn't it be simpler if we could just go back and see for ourselves?
The answer, of course, is yes. So that is precisely what we have done.
We've taken your questions, your requests, and your ponderings and sought to find definitive answers to them.
Welcome to
Now,
And Then. I'm your host, Hannah.
I'm Phaedra.
And I'm your news correspondent, Kate.
Join us in a fascinating, educational jaunt through time.
As we shed light on some of the darkest chapters,
The tallest tales.
most alluring myths,
and mythers.
yes, and mythers.
Our intrepid team of time-travelling correspondents have been zipping through history to bring back tantalising audio recordings of actual historical events.
And listeners, if you close your eyes, you'll feel so close to the past, you'll swear you can almost touch it. So, over to our news correspondent Kate for what's coming up in today's programme.
Coming up today, flowers of Scotland. You've seen it on road signs. You've seen it in fields. You've seen it on rugby shirts. But just how did the thistle become Scotland's national emblem?
Run, lad, run!
Monarchs of Scotland, how cursed were they?
Sire, please don't put your face in there. Well, the king's dead. Again.
Fantastic females, innovative innovators, pioneers, and freedom fighters.
I do wish she would stop that.
And we'll be hot on the trail of some of the magical creatures rumoured to dwell in our bogs, lochs, forests, rivers, and oceans. And cooking through time. Our culinary specialists will be sampling some of the choicest foodstuffs history has to offer. All this and more in this week's exciting edition of Now and Then.
First up, we'll start 245 million years ago to answer a question emailed to us by Lucas from Liverpool, who asked, did humans live alongside dinosaurs?
Well, Lucas, I don't think so. But there's only one way to really be certain, and that's to send two of our time-travelling veterans to find out. Nathaniel, are you there?
Yes, I am hearing you loud and clear. Here I am in what will one day be a soul coat. And it's very hot, let me tell you. Oh, my jacket, would you, Trevor? So, looking round me at the luscious foliage replete with splendid rather dangerous-looking insects. Get it off me, Trevor. Please get it off me. Thanks, Trevor. So, we can see peaceful sauropods happily munching. And, oh dear, not so peaceful carnivores stalking the herbivores in the undergrowth. Trevor, I think we'd better gather our things. Bear with us, folks. We'll be right back.
So sorry, listeners. Always the way with live broadcasts from the distant past. The signal can be intermittent, and we can never truly be certain. Oh, what's that? They're back? Hello, Nathaniel.
Yes, we're back. All's good. We're a safe distance from the not-so-friendly carnivores, and looking around us, there doesn't seem to be any sign of human life at all. Mr. Trevor. For the benefit of the listeners at home, Trevor is shaking his head. He's quite certain.
So, no sign of humans living alongside dinosaurs?
Well, I guess there's no way to be absolutely certain without shouting. What's that? Oh, Trevor doesn't think shouting is a good idea. What with all the not-so-peaceful-looking carnivores around? But surely there's no harm in just a teeny weeny little shout, is there? Hello, I say, are there any humans living amongst these dinosaurs? I said, are there any humans living amongst all these dinosaurs?
No.
I say, could you repeat that, please, for the listeners at home?
No.
No humans alive, and what's that, Trevor? Oh dear, and not so peaceful-looking carnivores. It's towering above us. It's looking at my arms in evolutionary rage. It's comparing them to its own tiny arms, and it's becoming furious. Don't move, Trevor. I heard in a movie that its vision is based on movement. Oh no, Trevor!
Well, there you have it, folks. A clear answer from the veritable horse's mouth, as it were. That answers that. Excellent sleuth work, team.
Oh, and we've got our first caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello, I am not happy when I allowed my Trevor to participate in this Easter project. I didn't expect him to be eaten by animals long since extinct. I wish to complain to the manager.
Ah, yes, well, thank you for calling in. We do love to hear from our listeners.
But I'm afraid you're very much mistaken. Dinosaurs were not animals. They were, in fact, reptiles.
That's absolutely right. But do please keep your calls and questions coming in.
Next up, Alex from Edinburgh asks, who were the earliest inhabitants of Scotland?
To answer that, let's first hear a theory from our resident boring specialist, Boris.
We call the earliest inhabitants of Scotland Beaker people. We call them Beaker people because all that remains of them are cairns. That's stone dwelling places for the uninitiated. Filled with human bones and broken pieces of pottery. These fragments, once assembled, seem to resemble large beakers, presumably capable of storing liquid, rainwater, or perhaps broth. We've theorized that the size of the beaker would reflect the status of the beaker person. Therefore, the bigger the beaker, the more important the beaker person, and so on.
The bigger the beaker, the more important the beaker person. What do we think of that theory, team?
Oh, sorry. I was sleeping too.
What's the point in all this pontification and speculation? Why theorize when we can explore? Go time, team!
No, you can't say that.
Why not?
We can't say that.
Why not?
Because there's already a time team.
On TV.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh well then, what about triple time team?
Don't hate it.
I'll check with the lawyers. Thumbs up from the legal team.
Well, that's it then. Ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Go triple time team!
Well, here we are, 4,000 years ago, outside a functioning stone cairn, and I must say, it looks very inviting, especially with this rather formidable gale blowing, especially with all these rather angry mammoths, rather furious with humankind, and frankly, who can blame them after us hunting them to near extinction? I think we should just step inside, shall we? That's better. It's warm, cozy, a fire crackling in the center. Roast something crackling on a spit. Smells delicious. Like chicken, I think. I can just make out signs. A language I'm not familiar with. Certainly a primitive form of hieroglyph. Think a circle? Not unlike the kind of a target one might fire a bow and arrow. On the floor? Yes, I think the hieroglyphs are directing me to sit in the center of the target, besides the fire. Oh, that's nice. Looking around as my eyes become accustomed to the gloom. Oh, there's statues around the inside of the cairn. No, they are people standing deadly still. Beaker people, I presume, as all of them have large ceramic beakers held above their heads. Hello, nice to meet you. They're coming towards me now, wielding the massive beakers above their heads. And if I didn't know better, I'd think there's a fair bit of menace. You know, the more I look at the circle, the more I'm convinced it looks exactly like a target and... Oh no.
Of course, a far more credible theory.
Remnants of cairns with human bones and broken pottery fragments inside.
They must have been death traps.
Of course!
Stands to reason.
Silly.
Obvious, really, when you think about it.
Well, we've sorted out another one.
Go us.
What's next?
Cursed kings.
Just how cursed were the kings of Scotland? The answer, of course, is very. Kate?
Yes, Hannah. The Scottish monarchy is riddled with more bad luck than a bag full of black cats and broken mirrors.
Who'd put cats in a bag of broken mirrors?
It's just an expression.
Oh.
From dying in battle.
You stabbed me in the armpit.
And falling off cliffs.
Your Majesty, Your Majesty!
To drowning in the North Sea and lifelong imprisonment.
Hello? Could I go to the toilet, please?
Oh, too late.
and, on several occasions, even public execution, the royal luck could not have been worse. No one represents this more clearly than the Stuarts, arguably the most successful and long-lived Scottish lineage, but also easily the most unlucky. The first Stuart king, Robert I, was weak, unpopular, and senile.
Where's my crown?
On your head, sire.
Oh, thanks. Where's my sword?
You gave it to the squirrel.
But I want to knight the squirrel.
But you can't, sire.
Who's king?
You are, sire.
I am. Give me my sword back, you little...
His son, Robert II, was worse.
I'm the worst king of kings and the most miserable of men. Bury me in a dunghill.
So, they buried him in Paisley.
Poor guy.
I know, right?
His son, James, didn't fare much better.
Let's go to our royal correspondent, who is joining us from the 1430s, where this unfortunate story begins.
Keep back, nothing to see here. This is police business, back off.
I'm Aoife and I'm joining you now from a very bloody crime scene in Perth in February 1437.
Hello, Aoife. Can you paint us a picture of what's going on?
Well, there's quite a to-do, I can tell you. People running to and fro. There's lots of crying and no one is really having a good time. King James I has been brutally murdered. And what's more, and these reports have yet to be confirmed, you understand, he has been stabbed 16 times in the toilet.
In the toilet?
Yes, a very painful place to be stabbed.
I'm sure it was.
Where exactly in the toilet was he stabbed?
In Perth.
Stabbed in the toilet in Perth?
Yes, there's still only one.
The queues must be frightful.
Round the block, but no one's getting in until blood spatters and forensics have done their thing.
Are there any suspects? Or witnesses?
As luck would have it, I have one of each right here.
A witness and a suspect? That's fortunate. Well, over to you, Aoife.
Thank you. Now, first let's talk to our witness. You are?
Jules,
And your occupation?
the toilet cleaner.
Perth's toilet cleaner. An illustrious post. Cleaner of the only toilet in Perth.
To be honest, the whole town is a bit of a toilet, but this is the one the nobles use. The rest of us, well, we just stuff the bucket out the window.
Yes. Well, you were saying?
Oh yes, I'm Jules, the toilet cleaner, and I'm very proud. Been cleaning this toilet for 14 years now. I'm awful fond of it. So nice when it's clean. Which isn't very often. It's these filthy royals.
And can you tell us what happened?
Well, you know, I was doing my rounds. I've got this wee routine I do. So I went in there and I was cleaning and wiping. They're always a right royal mess. Disgusting, really. Anyway, I was cleaning away and I turned the corner and there was just this man sitting there, covered in blood. Dead, I thought to myself. I thought, oh no, it's the king.
And how did you know it was the king?
Oh, he had socks with little crowns on them.
I see.
And I thought, this is just terrible. Look at this mess. I've just cleaned it. Then I nearly fainted. I shouted for help, you know, 'cause he was dead.
And did you see anyone suspicious around? You know, who might have been up to no good?
That one standing beside you.
We'll get to them in a second. Can I ask, first, Jules, are you a royalist?
No, I wouldn't say so.
So, the murder unsettled you, but not the loss of the king?
No, I'd say it was the blood that was unsettling. What has the king ever done for me except muck at my toilets?
Thank you, Jules. Now, we are joined by the person who we believe to have been the murderer. Did you do it?
Do what?
The murder.
Which one?
King James. Did you stab him 16 times?
Oh, no. How's my hair?
It doesn't matter. This is radio.
What?
Never mind.
What's that in your hand?
That's my mic. It makes me louder so that more people listen to me.
You're obviously getting nothing useful from the suspect, so we'll leave you there, Aoife. We will return to the curse of the Scottish monarchs in due course, but for now, let's have a change of scene. Space!
Surely the final frontier.
And the Horsehead Nebula, its most startling feature.
Well, up next we have our real treat. We have a group of stargazing enthusiasts here to tell us more about this particular nebula.
Well, Hannah, we're in 1850, looking up at the uncharted Horsehead Nebula, and I can tell you, without all that modern-day light pollution, it's breathtaking.
Enigmatic.
Here truly is a glimpse of heaven.
A seahorse.
Striking.
Startling, undeniably silhouetted.
Enveloped by a luscious red nebula.
Punctuated by thousands of tiny sparkling sapphires.
It has intrigued generations of astronomers.
Fired the imaginations of countless stargazers.
Mystery.
Shrouded in intrigue.
Ah, yes, well, we're all very jealous back here in the studio.
But tell us, where does the story of the Horsehead Nebula begin?
Officially it is Barnard 33, because Barnard was the first to catalogue it in 1913.
But histories know what happened. It's what someone said happened.
This wonderful nebula was discovered much earlier.
In the late 1800s in America.
On a photographic plate.
By Mina Peyton Stevens Fleming, spectrographic pioneer from Dundee.
Our story starts in the Nethergate, but that isn't where it ends. Wilhelmina Peyton Stevens Fleming.
Mina to my friends.
She won the bread to feed the mouths, at home numbering
9.
For her ma, her brothers and her sisters, Mina gave her time.
Till the day she married, bade fond farewell to Dundee, and with her husband James in tow, they sailed across the sea to America.
A different land, this new frontier, a lawless backwoods wild. Perils, danger, much to fear, soon Mina was with child. James left after just 2 years, abandoned her alone. Pregnant and impoverished.
And a long, long way from home.
A single ma in a savage world, horrendous for you or for me. But no for Wilhelmina Fleming, o' the Nethergate Dundee, where lasses o'er the years had worked to feed their starving men. She'd done it when she was a bairn.
Ew, I'll do it here again.
At Harvard's old conservatory, a low station poorly paid, the Dundee teacher quelled her pride and applied to be a maid.
Now at this time, computers weren't things. No, they were men, whose job it was to stare at plates, closely examine them. Pictures made by telescopes, starlight split by prisms. The men just weren't up for it. Hence Professor Pickering's criticisms.
Come on, guys, it's easy. Take a leg, you're getting paid. Why, anyone could do this. Even Mina, my Scotch maid. In fact, I'll bet she's even better.
Mina, grab a stool. Now you're cataloguing stars.
Pickering, you old fool. Why didn't this come before?
He'd say time and again,
I'll make all my computers good and pay them less than me.
No longer would she sweep the stairs to feed her growing son. From now she'd catalogue the stars. Her new life had begun.
Within 10 years she charted most stars visible to the eye. More than 10,000 celestial forms did Mina classify.
1 million or more of these plates are stored at Harvard still today. One is B2312, and of it she did say.
A semicircular indentation, 30 minutes south of Sita, 5 minutes in diameter. Have you ever seen a thing sweeter?
The Horsehead Nebula.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, but we have some breaking news from 1460. Kate?
News just in. Another world tragedy has occurred, this time in Roxburgh, in the Borders. Emma has the story.
I am here at the siege of Roxburgh Castle on what is another sad day in the annals of Scottish history. The king is dead. Again. King James II, son of James, who was stabbed 16 times in the toilet earlier in the programme, is dead. And this time, there are no suspicious circumstances, merely bad luck. Zach and Josh are soldiers in the Scottish Army. Did either of you see what happened?
He's very upset.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, take my hanky.
We can't share hankies, you might have the plague.
Oh, he might have the plague.
We have to be vigilant.
We might have got it under control, but new outbreaks can happen at any time.
Oh,
I don't have the plague.
how do you know? Have you had a test?
There aren't any tests.
Oh,
If I'm dead tomorrow, you'll know I had the plague.
Aye, it's the only way to be sure.
sorry to interrupt, but can you tell us what happened?
Oh yeah. It's just a terrible shame, you know. It was so wee when he became king.
And it was terrible what happened to his dad.
Stabbed. Right in the toilet.
Oh yeah.
But what happened today?
Well, we were just laying siege to that castle over there.
I sieged the wee turrets, see?
Yes, very well sieged.
The broken bit. I did that.
I see. Well done.
It wasn't easy. You don't look impressed.
I am impressed. I just have a resting, unimpressed face. Go on.
What's that thing in your hand?
It's my microphone. It steals your words and gives them to people who can listen to them in the future.
Cool. Well, the king was beside his cannon.
He loved cannons. It's all he ever went on about.
Always banging on. Get it?
Yes,
Banging.
I get it.
The noise a cannon makes.
We get it.
Cannons this and cannons that. Hey, have you seen my new cannon? It's a pure belter. Oh, he was such a wee character. I can't believe he's gone.
Anyway, the siege was nearly won, and he heard that the Queen was arriving, and he wanted to welcome her with a salute. You know, a full cannon salute.
So he was busying himself about his new foot cannon, and some of us were like, Sire, shouldn't you have cleaned that? We've been sieging with it for hours, and it's pretty dusty.
But he wouldn't listen.
He was having none of it.
So he set off a barrage and
Nothing.
Nothing.
not a pop.
So you know the rule with fireworks, yeah? Never approach a firework after it's lit. But did he
No.
put his face right over the cannon and
Boom.
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 Yeah. And boom.
So, what you're saying is, it's the cleaner's fault.
Eh?
Eh?
Well, by your own suggestions, if the cleaner had done the job properly, King James would still be alive.
Well, when you put it like that,
You might have a point.
right enough.
Well, I see.
I have the cleaner right here. Jules, what have you to say to these accusations?
Well, I mean, no, it hadn't been cleaned. I couldn't get near it to clean it. He loved that cannon, so he did. But a mucky pup, just like his father. I remember days back when his dad used to muck at my toilet. I'd say, just you look here, your majesty. I'm no affair to put you over my knee. But you know the thing about kings? They won't be told. So he just went ahead and he lit that cannon.
And now for a palate cleanse. See what I did there? Well, you will in a moment, because it's time to come dine with me through time.
Well, here we are in Graf and Sonia's cave. Snoff and Thrap have just sampled some of Sonia's finest hospitality and are now preparing to feed back to the rest of the tribe. What scores they are going to give them? Let's have a quick chat to Graf first. So, how do you think you did, Graf?
Quite well. I think cave not too damp. Ticks all gone. No fleas. Plus, saber-toothed tiger no attack during meat course like normally do. So all good. Hope high score.
Well, you sound confident. And Sonia, do you echo Graf's hope for a good score?
Absolutely. We do good job. Go Sonia and Graf. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I like your confidence. Let's see what Snoff and Thrab have to say, shall we? Snoff, how did you enjoy your meal in Graf and Sonia's cave?
I like wall paintings.
You like the wall paintings?
That all.
Very generous feedback. And Thrab, did you enjoy your meal?
I prefer meat completely dead. I have to kill it with big stone and fire wrong colour. I give 3 stars.
3 stars?
After what happened in your cave, I hit you with rocks.
And that's all we've got time for on this week's Come Dine With Me Through Time. Join us next week where we'll be trying peas pudding in the pot 9 days old.
A 3-star review there for Sonia and Graf. Will the peas pudding do better on next week's Come Dine With Me Through Time?
So, if you've just joined us this week, we're looking into the curse of the Stuart kings, specifically the ones called James. I believe that Aoife is now joining us from Sauchieburn in Stirling. Aoife, is it true? Do you have more bad news?
Good morning, Hannah, and I'm afraid so. I'm standing here, outside this cottage in Sauchieburn, and the country is reeling and dazed at the news that King James III, like his father and his grandfather before him, is dead. The curse of the Stuarts would certainly seem to be real. A major conspiracy is at play. We know that the Battle of Sauchieburn didn't go His Majesty's way, but there are conflicting reports as to exactly what went down. We have witnesses and we'll talk to them now. Good morning.
Morning.
And you are?
I'm Jules. I'm the battlefield cleaner.
The battlefield cleaner. Oh, that must be a difficult job.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. I mean, after the battle is a nightmare, but see, during, impossible.
And did you see what happened to the king?
I did. Oh, I did. He fell off his horse. That's what happened. So I was doing my thing, cleaning up like my mother and my grandmother before me, cleaning up behind the horse as he was fighting and jostling, and suddenly, wham! Off he falls. He hit the ground with an almighty crash.
And did the impact kill him?
It's difficult to say. I was knee-deep in dung and doing my best to clear it so I didn't trip up the other soldiers.
I see. Thank you, Jules.
You're more likely to die in a battlefield tripping over horse dung than you are getting your head cut off. That's statistics.
Carry on. And now we'll speak to two soldiers.
I'm Liliana. And I'm Eloise. We carried the king here to this cottage.
And was he dead or badly injured?
He was dead. No, he was injured. He was dead. He was injured. He was dead. He was injured. He was dead. He was injured. Come here. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna poke your eye out with this big stick. Ow. Oh, stop it. Ow. Ow.
Stop fighting, please.
But we're soldiers. Fighting's all we do. Yeah, that and marching. Oh, yeah, and marching. I hate marching. So do I. I prefer a good fight over marching any day. Me too. Come on. I'm gonna poke your eye out.
Sorry. Just a few more questions. Can you confirm if the king was dead or injured when you carried him to this cottage?
I don't know. Can we? Rock, paper, scissors? Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes. You win. I love winning. All right. He was injured, not dead, but very badly injured and liable to die at any minute. Yes. So we called for a priest.
A priest? Which priest?
That one. Over there. And he asked to be left alone with the king. That's right. To say a secret blessing. And he asked if he could borrow my knife. Yes. And all we know is, when he came back out, the king was dead.
Very suspicious. Excuse me, Holy Father.
All right.
Can I ask you, was the king alive when you last saw him?
No. Oh, he wasn't.
But the soldiers say different.
All I know is I was called to do a blessing. When I arrived, there he was, dead. And I was like, whoopsie. Guys, you know the king's dead, right?
But the soldiers say that he was alive when you came, and that you asked to be left alone with him to give him some kind of secret blessing.
Really?
Yes, and that you asked to borrow their knife.
Why would I do that? But I've got this great big sword right here.
Are you sure you're a priest?
Oh, yeah. Totes.
It's just, I've never met a priest with such great hair.
I get that a lot.
Or one that says, totes.
Look, I get that it's suspicious, but you have to remember, he wasn't a popular king.
No?
Oh, Lord, no. His foreign policies were terrible. He had loads of enemies. If you want to know who'd killed him, I'd speak to that murderous band over there.
Where? Oh, he's gone. Extremely suspicious. Well, there you have it, folks. Even with the benefit of time travel, no answers, only questions. Whether he was killed by a priest or a horse or a murderous band, the curse of the Stuarts is definitely real. Back to you in the studio.
Well, thank you for that, Aoife. Surely now the curse has properly shown itself. Hopefully the descendants of King James will not tempt fate.
Time, as it were, will tell.
Now, for a cheerier segment, I hope, we're hearing from our nature correspondent, Isaac, who is in the Highlands and has stumbled upon a rare encounter.
Yes, you are joining me now in the Highlands of Scotland in the year 1605, and we really can't believe our luck. We've been searching for what feels like weeks now, and finally, we've happened upon an actual haggis warren. What you are hearing is the sound of these adorable creatures playing in the sun. It is very rare to see these creatures outside supermarkets in modern times. But here they are, running and scampering, and oh, it's just a joy to see them. They're gamboling like baby lambs without a care in the world, perfectly in tune with the environment in which they dwell, free to feast upon the luscious, nutritious Scottish grass that they enjoy, safe from all predators in this high altitude. And wait, what's that? It's some kind of wooden cart marked with a T-E-S-C and O. 3 men are getting out, and oh, they're making their way towards the Haggai with. Wait, what are those? Baseball bats! Wait, no, not the Haggai! They're going to. Those poor men! Why are they being torn to shreds? They're not vegetarian Haggai! Oh, gosh, I've never seen anything more graphic!
Ah, wasn't that nice? A rare sight into the tranquil world of the wild haggis.
Now, next up, a real treat. We're going to meet a real Scottish freedom fighter.
A hero.
Courageous, bold, strong.
Someone who scorned danger to stand up for equality.
And who never fled from the battlefield.
We now go over to Iona, who is with them now.
Thank you, guys. And yes, this is a true hero. Protector of Scotland. Here we are at Stirling Bridge, where an epic battle is about to take place. And here he comes, on horseback, sword in hand, ready to deliver one of the greatest free-fight pep talks ever delivered. A giant of a man, a demigod, who does, in fact, look a tad like Mel Gibson. I give you William Wallace.
As long as but 100 of us remain alive, they may take our life, but they will never take our.
Sorry to interrupt. Mr. Wallace?
Eh?
This is awkward. There's been some kind of miscommunication. We're supposed to be interviewing Marion Wallace.
Who?
Marion Wallace Dunlop? The Scottish suffragette?
The what?
Oh, sorry. Yes, 1909. My mistake. Sorry, Wallace. Good luck with the battle. Sorry about that, but here we are, in a dreary and dreary cell in Holloway Prison, in the company of Marion Dunlop Wallace. Apologies for keeping you waiting, Miss Dunlop.
Ugh, it's fine. It's not as if I was going anywhere.
It's just that when they said Wallace, I immediately assumed.
Well, to be fair, I am a direct descendant. Wallace warrior blood pumps through these veins. Although I plan to succeed, unlike my stick-wielding ancestor, not a morsel of food or water has passed these lips in the last 91 hours.
91 hours? But you might die.
I am prepared to die to see my goal achieved. I will not rest until me and all of my sisters have a say in running this country. Votes for women is my cause. Oh, here they come again.
Morning, Marion. See what the chef's cooked up for you?
Just smell that, Marion. Ain't it glorious?
Bangers and mash.
Fish and chips with mushy peas.
Bubble and squeak, toad in the hole.
With pigs in a blanket.
Creamy mashed potato on the side.
A big dolloping jug of gravy.
And a big jug of cold, refreshing ginger beer to wash it all down.
What do you think, Marion? Lovely jubbly?
It looks lovely.
Well, won't you just have one bite? Mr. Gladstone, the health secretary, says if you don't eat, we should just let you die.
Go on, just one little bite. You don't want to starve.
Tempting, but no. I'll starve if I have to. You'll make me a martyr for my cause.
Please?
Oh, please.
Pretty please?
Pretty please with sugar on top.
No, I've said it once, and I've said it again. I shan't eat a bite.
That's it. I've had enough.
Yeah, if you're not going to eat your dinner, then you can just clear off.
Clear off?
Yeah, clear off out of here. We'll make no martyrs here. Go on, scram!
So, I'm free to go?
Yep.
But what about the charges? Damage of property? Illegal protests?
You heard, scram!
Okay then. Bye.
Ha, that showed her.
Yeah, she won't go showing her face around these parts no more.
And do you really think that will discourage her?
Hey, what are you doing here?
You're not supposed to be here. How did you get in?
I'm a radio presenter from the future.
Oh, well, that's all right. We thought you was a burglar.
Do you think your tactic will deter the suffragette cause?
You're the time traveller, mate. Why don't you skip ahead and find out?
That's not a bad idea. Well, here I am, 10 years later, same present, same guards, and... What's the matter? Why are you crying?
It's the suffragette.
They're all at it.
Who's that?
That's Ethel Moorhead from Dundee.
Why is she here?
Throwing pepper at police.
Interrupting political meetings.
And she stoned the Chancellor's car.
Now she's flooding the corridors.
Breaking windows.
And they're all on blooming hunger strike.
And how's that working out?
They brought a doctor in to make her eat, but they got food in her lungs and made her sick. She's being released in the morning.
All for the vote, you know.
I can't wait till they all go home.
Yes. What is that? Is that the bagpipes?
Aye, that's the worst of them. Wee Bessie Watson outside playing the pipes to keep their spirits up 24/7. It's enough to drive you mad.
Well, has it ever occurred to you to give them what they want?
What?
Well, I mean, if all this fuss would end, if they were finally given the vote, wouldn't that be worth it?
Well, when you put it like that...
You might have a point. But wait, what can we do?
Yeah, we're just lowly gods. We're powerless.
You have the vote, gentlemen. I suggest you use them. A word of warning from the future. These girls are going nowhere. Back to you in the studio.
Well, I would not like to be those guards.
I know, right? I get hangry if I skip breakfast, but 91 hours.
And fine bagpiping skills there from Bessie Watson.
And now, returning to one of our main stories this week, is the name James cursed? Which James are we on now, Kate?
Well, we are now on James IV, and things have not gone well for his father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. But will his fortune be different?
Well, here's hoping for some good news. We have Molly on the scene.
Sorry, Hannah. No good news, only bad. The curse of the Stuarts has reared its ugly head once more, and King James is dead. He went off to fight the English at Flodden Field. The odds were good. Scotland outnumbered the English 4-1, but they fought really badly, and everyone is dead. I'm speaking here to Jules, a cleaner at King James's castle. Jules, what was going through his head?
I know, it's just silly. Everyone told him not to go, but he wouldn't listen.
And have you any idea what possessed him?
Well, I have some idea. I was doing my thing, tidying up the royal bedchamber. My mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother before them were royal cleaners going way back. And I heard a conversation between the king and the queen.
Can you tell us, in a nutshell, what was said?
She was begging him not to go, citing the curse and all of that. And apparently she'd heard a spooky voice the night before.
A spooky voice?
Yes, predicting the battle would be lost. But the king was having none of it. Someone in France sent him a flower.
A flower?
Which the king took to mean, help us attack the English.
Couldn't it just have been a present?
That's what I thought. But what do I know? I'm just a cleaner. Very sad.
Yes, it is. Back to you, Hannah.
Thank you. Hannah, if you were a Scottish king, what name would you pick?
Well, it wouldn't be James, that's for sure. We can laugh because it's so long ago, but were all Scottish monarchs so unlucky?
How many were there anyway? Kate?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Kenneth MacAlpine in 843. His grandson was Constantine. Most said that he was the first to rule Scotland, least under that name. But Kenneth's remembered first king all the same. After Kenneth came Donald, then Constantine Age, then Ached, Garrick, and Donald again, and then Donald and Constantine, Malcolm and Indulf, Dub, Cullen, then Kenneth and Aimlub. Then Kenneth and Constantine, Kenneth and Malcolm, then Duncan, Macbeth, and then Luchlac. Then Malcolm and Donald, and Duncan and Donald, then Edgar and Alex and David. And then there came Malcolm, then William and Alex, then Alex, who fell to his death, leaving his kingdom to wee baby Margaret, who then took her last baby breath. Then came the guardians, bishops and earls, stewarding over the nation, followed by Baliol, tomb to Bard, the coward who fled from his station. Then Robert the Bruce, and then David and Edward, 2 Roberts, and count them 5 Jameses. Then ill-fated Mary and James one more time, but from then on there would be some changes. For Scotland would sit at the top of the pile, with James Stuart's kingdom, the whole British Isles, and though it was only to be for a while, the Scottish still like to remember and smile.
Yes, well, thank you, Kate.
Well, that was certainly more than I was expecting, and we'll find out what happened to that 5th James after this segment from our nature correspondent, who is now joining us from 1415 on the banks of the Clyde.
Water kelpies in their natural habitat. A rare sight of these wonderful, horse-like, mythical creatures. Spirited, graceful animals who enjoy nothing better than running through the meadows and frolicking in the water with others of their kind. Nothing that is, except cold-blooded murder. Yes, listeners, these creatures seem playful and harmless, but nothing could be further from the truth, and we must take care not to get too close, or else they will attempt to drag us to our certain doom. The water kelpie, of course, has many forms, and is not just a horse, but also appears to us as a...
Excuse me, son?
Oh, hello, strange, innocent-looking old woman, who seemingly appeared from literally nowhere.
I'm awfully sorry to bother you, pet, but You couldn't help an innocent old deer get across the river, could you? I just need to get my messages and run a few errands. But that river's in my way. Can you help?
Of course I'll help. This is not in the least suspicious. Sorry, listeners. Please bear with me while I pause this broadcast for a good deed.
I wouldn't ask, you understand. I can see you're busy. It's just I'm old and weak, and I haven't the strength to resist those nasty currents. But you're young and strong. They'll pose no danger to you.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, yes. You're a broad, strapping young thing. Can I just hop up into your back?
Of course. Up you go. There. Comfy?
Oh, I'm as comfortable as a Kielty on the back of its oblivious and unsuspecting next victim.
Good. Sorry, what?
Nothing. Now, Petal, can I just suggest the safest way across?
Sure. Sorry, did you say oblivious and...
No, dear. It's your imagination. Now, if we just head along that wee bit closer to the waterfall. That's it. Now, if you just tiptoe into the water, you'll find a nice, safe path.
It's getting rather deep. I say, are you sure this is the safest way? It looks rather treacherous to me.
And I suppose you think that at any moment I'm going to change into a horse and trample you under the waterfall, do you?
What? Nonsense. The thought hadn't even crossed my mind.
Oh, pity.
Oh, and we're back, are we?
That was a rather abrupt end to that report, wasn't it?
But a real treat to hear those kelpies in action.
Now, we're approaching the end of our scheduled programme. Just in time for a couple more features. So, Flower of Scotland.
Yes, you've heard your uncle sing the song. You've seen it on road signs.
Bottles of water.
And, of course, you've seen it on rugby shirts. But how did the lowly thistle achieve its position as Scotland's national emblem?
Because, like Scotland itself, it's coarse, rugged, spiky, and always up for a fight.
Here we can present, for the first time ever, an exclusive actual recording of the event itself, accomplished by simply hiding a small microphone into the helmet of one of the invading army's troops. Go!
That's a nice scabbard.
Oh, thanks.
How much it set you back?
4 sheepskins.
Oh, well, I mean, it's seen better days. What if I were to give you 2 for it?
2 sheepskins?
Quiet!
Sorry. Ooh. Well, someone's grumpy.
He didn't get his Weetabix this morning. What about 2.5 sheepskins?
Oh, you going to half a sheepskin? What good's half a sheepskin to anybody?
I can't afford 3, but... Oh, I need a scabbard. This sword is so heavy.
I'm not surprised. You're also carrying that axe.
Sure, quiet. Need I remind either of you that the Scottish army are fast asleep just over that hill, and they will likely wipe us out if we don't attempt this stealth assault. Quiet! Now, onwards.
What?
Let me see that axe.
Why?
I might need an axe. And I might consider swapping you the scabbard.
Are you talking an axe for a scabby scabbard? You're out of your mind! Did you hear that?
What?
Sounds.
What sort of sounds?
I don't know. Just sounds from down there.
It was probably nothing. A badger. Or a vole.
Yeah, a vole. That's what it sounded like. Oh, weak and squeaky. Who'd be mad enough to sneak on us while we're sleeping, eh?
Aye, you're right. Back to sleep. Night time.
Aye, night time.
You two will be the death of all of us. Did you hear that? It's far worse than we thought. There's 2 of them.
2?
Which means we are vastly outnumbered. The only chance we 500 Danes have against these 2 Scottish madmen is if we all take our shoes off. Everyone, now.
Oh, what, barefoot? But what if I stand on a spider?
Think you've got a problem? I've got a bunion the size of a...
Sorry. Right, we're almost there. Gently does it, lads. Just a little further and... Ow, my foot! I stepped on this horrible spiky flower! I want my mummy! Run away!
Run away! Even if
the flowers are trying to kill us! Run away!
Did you hear that, Tam?
Aye, Tam. Just the voles. Go back to sleep.
Night, Tam.
Night. Thank you for joining us. We are almost out of time, but we've been delighted to bring you this week's edition, and you have been a lovely audience. So it's goodbye from me.
And me.
And me.
And all of us.
But just before we go, there is just enough time for a quick update on the fate of King James V from Aoife at the Battle of Solway Moss. Aoife, the signal is breaking up, but we can just about hear you. Do you have any good news?
I'm just waiting on confirmation from the royal cleaner. Jules, what's happened?
The king is dead.
Long live the king. But some good news. I finally found the murderous band, and they are going to play us out with a suitable song. Thank you for joining us. Join in if you know the words.
Take it away, boys.
The deaths of the Stuarts were both strange and confusing. The first one in Perth, he was stabbed 16 times. James, his son James's death was more amusing. Shot in the face by a cannon he'd fired. Then his son James tried to put out the flames of Scots rebellion in his land. But his policies were hated, so he got assassinated by a priest or a horse or a murderous band. Why their names were all James, I just don't understand. James number 4 wasn't much like his father. No, he was more of a hero inside. Marched into England 'cause France sent a flower, but fought really badly and everybody died. Then James 5, well at least he was alive, but a prisoner till he was 15. And at Solway Moss he suffered a loss, but left a little daughter who would one day be queen. Were we keen on the queen? That remains to be seen. The lives of the Stuarts, they were short and eventful, some pretty bad and the rest even worse. So if you're ever king in a country called Scotland, don't get called James, 'cause the bloody name's curse.